If you've ever been told that you need to have your life together before you can attract a high quality woman, if you think that you have to make seven figures, have a perfect body, own a house, and drive a Lambo or a Ferrari before she'll ever even pay attention to you, then you have been lied to. And that lie is what's keeping you single. Because right now, there are men who make less money than you, who are less successful than you, who are dating the exact women that you want. And it's definitely not because they're better looking than you. It's not because they got lucky. It's because they understand something that you don't. In the next 12 minutes, I'm going to break down exactly what that is. And I'm even going to show you what high quality women actually want in a man. And trust me, it's not what you think. But first, let me introduce myself for those of you who don't know me. My name is Daniel, and over the last several years, I've taught over 650 smart, successful men how to meet and attract traditional feminine women that they would actually want to marry. And look, I can tell you from experience, the men who succeed with these type of women that you want are not the ones who waited until they were ready. They're the ones who showed up as a work in progress, but they did have something that was a lot more appealing. And in just a minute, I'll show you what that is. But first, let me prove to you what I'm saying is true with three real world examples. The first is Kobe Bryant. He met his wife Vanessa when he was 20 years old. He wasn't even a legend yet. He was a young player who was still figuring things out. She didn't fall in love with the Kobe that everyone knows. She fell in love with the guy who had a vision for who he was becoming. Barack Obama met Michelle when he was a summer associate at his law firm. He was broke, driving a car with a hole in the floor, and living in a tiny apartment. She didn't want him because he was a president. She didn't wait for him to become president. She saw the man he was going to be and chose to build with him. David Beckham met Victoria when he was still starting out in Manchester United. He wasn't a global superstar yet, and she was already famous from being a Spice Girl. So you could argue that she had more status than him, which meant she could easily have her pick of men, but she still went after him. Are you starting to see the pattern? These men did not wait until they were a complete package. They attracted incredible women while they were in the process of building. And here's what most guys miss: high quality women aren't looking for a finished product. They're looking for a man who has a vision, a man who knows where he's going, a man who's actively building something, and a man who can lead. That is what is truly attractive. So here's what I need you to understand. There's this invisible prison that successful men put themselves into. And it goes something like this. You look at your life and you think, okay, I'm doing good in my career. I'm making decent money. I'm in good shape, but I'm not there yet. I'm not at the end destination that I really want. Maybe you're making $100,000, but you need to make $200,000. Maybe you have a nice apartment, but you think you need to own a house first. Maybe you're in good shape, but you think you need abs. So you tell yourself, once I get there, once I'm complete, then I'll finally be worthy of a woman that I really want. And here's the problem with that way of thinking: you're treating yourself like a product that has to be finished before it can ever go to market. But women don't fall in love with products, they fall in love with people. And more specifically, they fall in love with men who have a vision for where they are going. So let me explain the difference for you. A completed man walks into a room and says, either explicitly or just through his energy, look at everything I've accomplished. Look at my car, look at my house, look at the status I've had, like I've made it. And you should choose me because I've already arrived. And you know what high quality women think when they see this? Okay, so what now? You've already climbed the mountain. What are we going to build together? What's the vision? Or am I supposed to just enjoy the view of what you've already accomplished while sitting up top of the mountain? It feels like you already finished, like there's no room for her and your story. Now, if you contrast that with a man who has a vision, a man who's still working on himself, he walks into a room with a completely different energy. He's not trying to prove that he's already completed. He's excited about where he's going. And that excitement is what's going to pull her in. That passion is what she is drawn towards. And because that guy is looking for a girl who wants to be a part of that journey, who wants to build with him, that energy creates attraction. Because here's the thing, man, what women actually want, they don't want to just be a trophy wife that you can display after you've already won the game. They want to be a partner in the game itself. They want to feel like they're contributing to your life, like their presence in your life actually matters, like they're part of something bigger than just existing next to your success. And that only happens when you're still building, when you're still working on yourself, when you have a vision for something bigger than where you currently are. And when you invite her into that vision, saying, like, this is where I'm going, you want to come with me? That is what creates a real emotional connection. Look, I first learned this when I was dating my girlfriend, who's now my wife. At the time, I thought I had to know everything and needed to be able to do everything on my own. So I projected the confidence of always being sure and never needing any help. And even though she did think that I was masculine and sure of myself, she felt left out. Like, what does he even need me for? And I could see it in her eyes sometimes. She'd offer to help me with something, and I would say, no, I got it. Or she'd ask me if I need anything, and I'd be like, no, I'm good. I thought I was being strong, independent, the kind of man that she would respect. But what I didn't realize was I was shutting her out completely. I was so focused on appearing like I have everything together that I wasn't allowing her to be part of my life. Until one day around Christmas, I was, wrapping gifts for my family, and I showed her a present that I wrapped for my mom, and it looked terrible. I mean, it looked like I wrestled the wrapping paper together and lost. Tape was everywhere, had uneven folds, and the paper was bunched up in all these weird ways. And I turned to her and said, okay, I need your help. I have no idea what I'm doing here. And that's when she laughed. Yes, she literally laughed because in that moment, she wasn't listening to what I said. She was thinking, here's this man who has it all together, who's building a business, who handles everything, and he doesn't even know how to wrap a simple box without looking like a 5-year-old did it. It was just so funny to her because it was something everyone should know how to do, and yet I didn't. And that's when she finally felt included. That's when I realized the importance of allowing space for someone in your life. And furthermore, not needing to be a complete package or acting like you have everything together. Because the truth is, when you pretend like you have everything figured out, you're not just lying to her, but you're pushing away and creating this distance. You're telling her, I don't need you. I'm fine on my own. Now, if you're sitting here thinking, okay, Daniel, this makes sense, but I have no idea how to actually communicate my vision to women or how to show up as a man of value while still being vulnerable enough to let her in, then I suggest you book a free breakthrough call with me and my team. The link is in the description below. On this call, we'll analyze exactly where you're getting stuck, whether it's your mindset, how you're presenting yourself, or how to actually meet and attract women that you want. And I'll even give you a personalized roadmap so you can do that in the next 60 days. So if you want to do that, go ahead and click the link below. But with that being said, you don't need to be a complete picture. You don't have to have everything figured out and be perfect. You just need to focus on having a true emotional connection with women. So stop waiting until you have some perfect destination, until everything is in place, and just go out there and start meeting women now. So let me give you a tactical breakdown of how to actually build an emotional connection. First, stop performing and start being curious about people that you're talking to. Because most guys go into conversations with women, especially when they're on dates, trying to prove their value. They talk about their job, their accomplishments, all the things they've done, and women are sitting there thinking, okay, but like, who are you actually? So instead, you want to flip it. Be curious about her, and not in like an interview way or let me ask you 20 questions type of way, but in a, I actually want to know what you're interested in. What are you passionate about? So you can ask questions, so you can ask questions like, what's something you're really passionate about right now? So you can ask questions like, what's something you're really passionate about right now? What's something most people don't know about you? And here's the key. When she does answer, don't immediately jump into your own story. Pause, reflect on what she says, and then Ask a follow-up question. What do you love about that? When did you realize that about yourself? How did you get into that? This is what's going to create that depth in the conversation, and that depth is what's going to create the connection. Because most guys aren't doing this. They're too busy waiting for their turn to speak. So when you flip that and you actually listen, when you're genuinely interested, she can feel that. And that is attractive. Second, you want to share your truth. The second thing you want to do is you want to share your truth, not just the highlight reel. Women can smell BS from a mile away. So if you're only telling her about this polished version of yourself, the wins, the successes, the Instagram worthy moments, she's going to feel like she doesn't actually know who you are. And if she doesn't know who you are, she can't connect with you. So be real. Talk about what you're struggling with, what you're learning, what you're working through. Not in some trauma dumping way, but, just sharing what you're going through. Like, hey, I'm a real human being who's figuring life out just like everyone else. For example, instead of saying, yeah, my business is like crushing it right now, like everything's amazing, try saying like, yeah, I'm building something I'm really proud of, but honestly, some days I feel like I have no idea what I'm even doing. But I'm just figuring things out as I go, and that is what is exciting. Can you see the difference in that? It's like one is a performance and the other one feels real. And that is what's going to create that connection. Because when you're willing to be open with her, when most guys are not because they're putting up a front, it allows you to connect with the real her, and it gives her permission to drop her guard and do the same thing that you're doing. And that is when you have a real intimacy. That is what creates a real connection, because when you're willing to be vulnerable, when you're showing her that you're human, that you don't have all the answers in the world, it gives her permission to drop her guard and be real with you. And that is what creates real intimacy. Third, you want to lead with a vision, not validation. This is where everything comes together, because most guys are so desperate for a woman's approval that they just start becoming agreeable and passive, afraid to have their own opinions. They'll say yes to everything she says. They'll avoid conflict. They'll change themselves into whatever they think that she wants them to be. And that is going to kill attraction, because women don't want a man who needs their approval. They want a man who knows who he is, knows where he's going, and invites them into his world. Remember, that's what I said earlier. You want to have a vision and then invite them into that vision. So you want to lead, but not like in a domineering, like my way or the highway type of way, but like I have a vision for my life and I'm looking for a partner who wants to build with me. Is that what you're looking for? You make decisions, you suggest plans, you have opinions, and when she disagrees with you, you don't immediately back down. You have a conversation, you're playful, you show her that you're not afraid of her. Because when you lead from a place like this, when you're clear on what you want and you're not apologetic, she can feel that energy, and that energy she can trust. All right, so here's what I want you to do. If this resonates with you, if you're tired of being all right, so here's what I want you to do. If this resonates with you, if you're tired of waiting to be ready and you want to start attracting high quality women now by showing up with vision and emotional presence, then check out a free training that I did. The link is in the description. On this training, you'll discover the exact steps to start meeting, attracting, and dating high quality women, including how to flirt, how to build chemistry, and how to make her chase you. You can find all the details in the description. Peace.